NANI?!
Eustass Captain Kid.
Though nowadays a lot of folks are calling him useless Captain Mid. For the past few chapters of One Piece, albeit some pretty good chapters in terms of actual fight material, I'd argue probably some of the best we've seen in the entire series of One Piece, the battle of Supernova versus Yonko, useless Captain Mid, aka Eustass Captain Kid, seems to be bottom of the rung, where expectations were so high in the future, or in the past I should say, when a lot of folks believed that Kid would be right there with Luffy in terms of overall impact against Kaido Big Mom. Kid has fallen really far down the ladder. Like, so far that it's safe to say, I'd argue, that Killer, his own vice captain, Killer, has had a better showcase against Kaido than Kid himself has. Which is crazy, because we know on paper that Killer is weaker than Kid. But yet, against Kaido, the main thing here is actually damaging the giant dragon. Well, now, hybrid form is in. Oh, lovely.
Lovely.
The poll results. As you can tell, vastly in Zoro's favor. When it comes to Zoro versus Kid, or I guess in this case, no. Who's stronger? That was the question. Who is stronger? So you can see it as a versus matchup between Zoro and Kid, or you can see it as a general sense who is generally stronger in all situations, which I think is the more appropriate thing. Because you see, I actually had to catch myself for a second there. Yeah, you can see it, I think, in both those ways. But regardless, who is stronger was the question, Zoro or Kid? And the answer, I asked on Twitch live. We see the results there. I asked on Twitter, and I also asked on my YouTube community page, and lo and behold, Rona Zoro won across the board. Now, to be fair, there were some folks on other Discord pages promoting the "Go vote for Zoro" on Cole's poll.
This is getting out of hand.
I would say disingenuous, obviously, clearly. However, when I did ask the folks over on Twitch live at that point in time, those numbers I think are probably the most genuine numbers, and they are skewed somewhat on both Twitter and YouTube, but not by that much. It appears to be that, yes, Zoro, a lot of folks, at least in my community, believe at this point in time that Zoro is stronger than Kid, and or he would beat Kid in a one-on-one fight. Now, let's get to that real quick. In a one-on-one fight, Kid has the advantage, obviously, because he controls metal. So even though Zoro is physically a dominant force, we know that Kid is because we see Kid train with the blocks just like Luffy in the Prisoner of Minds. And when it comes to overall ability specs, Kid is far superior, arguably speaking. It would seem to me that in an actual fight one-on-one, Kid would probably beat Zoro, because Kid can nullify the vast majority of Zoro's abilities, or at least make it more difficult to actually use him because Kid control metal. New toward you, Zoro. I mean, I know some Zoro fanboys go as far as, yeah, new toward you, no sword style Zoro. I'm not saying it's not impressive, right? But no sword style Zoro, I don't think it's beating Eustass Captain Kid. Nah. It's safe to say that Kid would have the advantage in that fight because, again, of his abilities. But in overall, general, stronger sense, which is the main question here, okay? This is the main question. The reason why I still lean in Kid's favor is because I try and gauge how strong they are universally, not just in certain situations. This is the main reason why I have Doflamingo rated really highly on my list of top 30 strongest characters, because in an overall general sense, Dofi had so much going for him. Let's say compared to someone like Jack, where Jack is a physical monster. Like, he's a stamina beast, 5 days and 5 nights. But at the same time, when Dofi has so many assets at his disposal, when the man can literally stitch up his own organs, and the birdcage, arguably one of the most broken abilities in the verse, as some folks would claim, right? Because Fujitora can break the that one's tricky. I don't want to get the whole Fujitora couldn't cut the birdcage. I really don't want to. However, it's part of the reason why I do gauge Dofi so highly. And this is the thing here. Enma. Oh, I love that. Enma is the pivotal thing that Zoro has against Kaido, which makes the most sense. That was his power-up coming into the fight, obviously. That's his main power-up thus far in the arc. Now, hoping the future, Nikatetsu, duh. However, Kaido's main feature is his durability. Durability / endurance at this point in time, because now it appears to be that Kaido is like a pain-soaked monster, because Kaido's taking so much damage. And also keep in mind this too, Kaido has a very, very fast recovery rate. He recovers like almost maybe not that quick, but he recovers very, very rapidly. It's kind of crazy. But even still, the main thing here is to bypass Kaido's scales. We see Law's abilities, the Gamma Knife, bypass Kaido's scales. Potentially, Law aimed it right for the heart. Potentially, right? And still, the attack that destroyed Dofi's organs, Kaido shrugged it off. But Law did damage nonetheless with the Gamma Knife. Killer Cyber Sonic appears to be a high-frequency sound-based attack like Zebra, baby, from Toriko, yes indeed. And that was a pretty impressive attack as well. The fact that he could make those giant sound-like blades to bypass Kaido's scales completely and do internal damage, very impressive on this part. Luffy has the Rio Haki. But not just that, no. A level Rio Haki that does internal damage at the same time as doing external damage. And then of course Zoro has the fabled Enma, which at this point in time is the only sword of its kind, a sword that can control and manipulate Haki. Even though Zoro has fantastic skill with the sword, and because of Warichimonji, he learned how to use the sword quicker, the fact of the matter is that Enma right now is looking like the Excalibur of One Piece. It's absurd. Excalibur! Excalibur! There's a full video, a full topic video I have on Zoro Enma coming out really soon, so check it out. There'll be a note somewhere in the corner, this corner right here. That being said though, so now we clearly know that Luffy and Zoro can do damage to Kaido as well, like actual earnest to goodness damage. The only one that's really left out of the camp at this point in time is Kid. There were a lot of folks saying, well, oh, Haki blooms. Oh my god. Haki blooms, King! Don't you know? Like, be real! Of course Kid can do damage to Kaido, because his Haki bloomed in the New World, duh! After Shanks cut his arm off, after Ben Beckman, after Lucky Roo, after Yasop, whoever did it, it could have been the Monkey or Rockstar, you never know. After the Red Pirates cut his arm off, his Haki bloomed! Clearly. However, reality comes to bear. As Thanos said, destiny arrives all the same. There was some merit to it, clearly. But after the Rio training, folks still said that they were on par. Which, I mean, even after the 2 years of training, folks said that Luffy and Kid were on par. But after the Punk Vice, with Kaido in base form, and then Kaido taking like virtually no damage from that one. And then after the Slam Gibson, which was in itself impressive, I'd argue, but in of itself, right? Because Kaido's a big boy, he's a big, beefy boy, weighs a lot of tons in dragon form.
That's quite big.
But can you say he actually did damage to Kaido? Kaido yells like, oh, but Kaido's been yelling a lot from a lot of attacks. Like, oh my god. And then he just gets back up and is like, So I was like, okay, well, he's taking damage, I guess. So ultimately for Kid, unlike the rest of his peers, it appears that Kid has done virtually no damage to Kaido, where the other folks on the rooftop, including his own vice captain, have done clear damage to Kaido. Killer's doing better against Kaido than Kid is. For Kid's expectations to be this high, and then for him to kind of be right now bottom of the rung among the 5 that are there on the rooftop right now. And I feel like when Yamato, because she should come at some point, I'd argue, right? Like at least her. I feel like if she were to come, she would have something available to use against Kaido, where she would be doing distinct damage to Kaido, like Luffy, like Law, like Killer would. Because we saw for a split second that she can apparently transform. But into what though? So I feel, it's all emotional, but I feel like at this point in time, even Yamato would be able to get some damage in on Kaido, like genuine solid hits. Whereas Kid at this point in time has, again, fell below many folks', including my own, honestly, expectations. But that's what I feel at this point in time. That's what I feel. I won't confirm it, but it's all emotions. And I don't blame folks putting Zoro over Kid, because Zoro just has had, for the time being, because again, it's only like a few chapters, mind you, but for the time being, a much better showcase against Kaido. In a general sense, I think that Kid still is over Zoro, because this fight requires something in particular to bypass an opponent's ability. But like, let's say for example, it's Kid or Zoro against 1,000 Marines. I'm gonna want Kid more so than Zoro, because Kid, he can control their weapons with relative ease, making these guys sitting ducks for whatever Kid has in store. Whereas for Zoro, a little more harder pressed, clearly. In fact, even more so in that case, because Kid has Conqueror's Haki, just flex on these boys and knock them out. But against other opponents, I'm willing to put more money on Kid doing better against Katakuri than Zoro, despite Zoro's power-up. Because again, the main thing here is that Kid right now does not have an ability, at least again right now, an ability to do damage to Kaido, or at least damage on par with that of Killer, Law, Zoro, and Luffy. And as a result of that, Zoro over Kid in a lot of folks' minds. And then as a follow-up to that, I was wondering, okay, if Zoro's over Kid in many of my audience's minds, what about Luffy? And then yeah, by default, if Zoro's over Kid, Luffy has to be over Kid too. Which means that all this hockey blooming, even though Kid and Luffy keep up the same blocks and so on, but again, that's just strictly based on what my audience believes at this point in time on who is stronger, Zoro or Kid. I think in the future, Zoro will surpass Kid, fair enough, but I don't know if that future's now. Because we haven't seen, I suppose, what Kid can really do. That sounds crazy, right? Like it's against Kaido, against Big Mom. But somewhere in my heart of hearts, somewhere in my kingdom hearts, right? Despite the fact that Kid has grabbed all the metal in the castle, and he's, again, in Eggman form, I don't think we've seen what Kid can really do. I think Kid has a lot more to showcase. But that's just my guess. That's just my hunch. Again, that's why I can't blame folks saying that Zoro's going to Kid more than him. I just can't blame them. Because there's a lot of evidence to prove that, clearly. But again, because of recency bias, we kind of forget, from a portrayal standpoint, where Kid was supposed to be. Essentially speaking, until this fight is over, I can't give Zoro the head over Kid just yet. But when the fight is over, it's completed, done. And then let's say Kid was virtually ineffective against Kaido. Like he threw Kaido a few more times. And Kaido's like, oh no! Ooh. Oh my god! Wow! So Zoro's been fairly impressive thus far. But portrayal still favors Kid over Zoro. And even though Kid has been meh in terms of feats, the fight, I think, in the grand scheme of the battle has just started. Remember Hawkins' prophecy. he said to Zoro and to Luffy that in like a month's time, there's like a 90% chance of them surviving, of them being alive. So these boys, and whoever joins them on the rooftop, are gonna get beat up pretty bad without a doubt. And this means more time to showcase what Eustass Kid can really do. However, at the end of the fight, when it's all said and done, if Zoro's feats completely trump Kid's feats, then I have to put Zoro's feats over Kid's portrayal. Meaning that come the end of this fight, if Zoro just showcases better stuff than Kid, then that's it. Zoro over Kid. So now, guys and gals, that is it for today's video. It'd be amazing if you could give your boy a thumbs up or a thumbs down, up to you. Of course, hit that bell for notifications and as well subscribe. It'll be awesome as all hell. I'm gonna see y'all later. You guys and gals, take care. Peace out. Stay safe and have a nice one.